Hey everybody, Weston here with the Hidden Gibbon, back with Friday's installment of Magic for the Working Class, where we make deck techs for under $100 because everybody should be able to enjoy a hobby without having to break the bank. I want one disclaimer on this one before we get into it. I built this deck about 2 weeks ago. I was doing a whole bunch of building for Magic for the Working Class, and when I originally built this deck, it was coming in at $75. So that I just want that to show as an example of how fast Magic cards are increasing in price. It was like $75 or $76, and now we're up to almost 97. Yikes. We'll just have to bake some of these decks a little bit faster and get them out faster. But before we get into it, if you like Magic for the Working Class, if you like daily deck techs, or my discussion content, anything else in between, and if you feel that I'm doing a good job, and only if you feel I'm doing a good job, please feel free to subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. So today's commander is Miirym Sentinal Wyrm. It's a very popular commander, and it itself is $5. Not the worst price in the world. Certainly better than last week's, where Igra is taking up like $15 of the budget. But Miirym here is a 6/6 for 3 generic, a green, a blue, and a red, which I believe is Teamer, flying in Ward 2, and whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield under your control, create a token copy that's a copy of it, except the token isn't legendary if that dragon is legendary. So it's of course going to be very classic. We're going to have a bunch of ramp, and I mean a lot, like we have some mana rocks and ramp spells to get out our lands, to play some dragons, and then hopefully beat face. This is going to be an aggro deck, not a combo deck, right? A lot of the combo dragons are, you know, like over $5, and those cannot go into a deck that needs to be under 100. In fact, I had to make some last minute changes, cutting several of the cards from this deck to get it back under $100. So now, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? So for our creatures, we've got some pretty spiffy dragons in here. First, we have Atarka World Render, a classic, and at 99 cents, not bad. A 6/4 flying trample, and whenever a dragon you control attacks, it gains double strike until end of turn. This is really good, right? You get 2, and then you can attack. It's always good to have more and more dragons to attack with. So you're gonna attack. You play it after you play your Miirym. You get 2 Atarkas, and then the next turn you're attacking with 2 6/6 trample double strikes. You know, just a solid 24 damage flying at the opponent. We have Demanding Dragon. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to target opponent. Unless an opponent sacrifices a creature, they're just going to take the 5 damage, which is fine. We're fine with that, because if we get 2 of them, that's 10 damage that they might be taking. They're like, oh, life is a resource, and then you smack them in the face with a bunch of big dragons. We have Draconic Mirrorless, which will get copied because they are dragons. It's a 4/3, and when it dies, search your library for a dragon card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Not bad. You get 2 of them. So when they both die, you get to search up 2 dragons. Dragon Lord Servant. This makes your dragons cost 1 less. Dragon Speaker does the same thing. It makes your dragons cost 2 less. Emerald Dragon. You can cast it for an adventure, which is counter target activated or triggered ability from a non-creature source, which is a really good utility. And then, of course, you can cast it as a 4/4 for 6 with flying and trample. Pretty low to the ground, but it's 35 cents, and so that's why it's in here. We have Furcrag. This is one of the most expensive cards in the deck. He is a $5 card. He's a 3/3 for 5. Flying haste. Whenever one or more dragons you control attack an opponent, goad target creature that player controls. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to one of your opponents, if that creature had to attack this turn, you may put 2 1/1 counters on Furcrag, Cunning Instigator, and you draw a card, which is really good. Goad is a fun mechanic. I really love Goad. We have Goblin and Archomancer, makes your green and red spells cost 1 less. Hellkite Charger, this will give you extra combat phases. This is one of those, like, him and Furcrag, I could not bring myself to cut. $5 and $4.50 respectively. So that, you know, that's taking up about $10 of our $96 budget. But getting extra combat phases is incredibly strong. And since we're going to ramp so much, getting those extra combat phases is going to help us out a lot. Intet the Dreamer. I love this card. I used to have it in one of my original EDH decks. It is a 6/6 for 6. Flying, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 3. If you do, exile the top card of your library face down. You may look at that card for as long as it remains exiled, and you can play it without paying its mana cost for as long as it remains on the battlefield. It's a good card. I really like this card. We have Karakik Guardian, 6/5 for 6, Flying, Vigilance, Trample it, and it has hexproof if it hasn't dealt damage yet. Getting 2 of them is always good. Kiega the Tide Star, Kega, the Tide Star. I've never actually really pronounced the name correctly. I don't know why. I'm a derp. Flying, 5/5 for 6. When Kega the Tide Star dies, gain control of target creature. Getting 2 of these, of course, is good. And then once somebody like blocks or something like that, steal their stuff. We have Corlessa, Scale Singer, again, a Dragon Bard, so you get to copy it still. You can look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast a dragon from the top of your library. Always good. Then we have Lozen, Dragon's Legacy, Dragon Shaman, so again, gets copied. Whenever you cast an adventure spell or a dragon spell, Lozen deals damage equal to that spell's mana value to any target that isn't a commander. Well, we have lots of dragons. We even have an adventure spell, so not bad at all. We have Rapacious Dragon. When it enters, create 2 treasures. Reckless Barbarian, sacrifice it to add 2 red. It's you know, if you have Miirym out there, you get 2 of them, so then you can produce 4 red. Renari, you can cast dragon spells and artifact spells as though they had flash. Ryusei, when it dies, it deals 5 damage to each creature without flying. Getting 2 of these and having them both die at once is always a fun thing. Teamer, Battle Crier, during your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each creature you control, power 4 or greater. Always good. And then Thrakus the Butcher, trample, and whenever Thrakus the Butcher attacks, double the power of each dragon you control until end of turn. If you get 2 of them, you double, and then you double again, which is really good. Also, I'd like to point out that a lot of times in Magic, orcs are gray, but this is more of like a Warcraft orc-looking orc on this Teamer Battle Crier. Sorceries. We have Cultivate, Rampant Growth, Grow from the Ashes, Kodama's Reach, Search for Tomorrow. For our like basic ramp spells, we have Decimate. You enable to cast Decimate. You have to have legal targets. So it's destroy an artifact, a creature, an enchantment, and a land. Dragon Claw Strike, double the power of and toughness of target creature you control until end of turn. It fights up to 1 creature an opponent controls. Hull Breach, destroy an artifact or an enchantment, or an artifact and enchantment. Harmonize, draw 3 cards. And then Genesis Ultimatum, look at the top 5 cards of your library, put any number of permanent cards from among them onto the battlefield. And then the rest into your hand, and then you exile the 5 Arrive, or Genesis Ultimatum. We have ourselves a Braid. You can pop an artifact or shoot something for 3. Blur, exile a creature, and then return it. So, you know, we this, and Essence Flux, and Ghostly Flicker, and Planar Incision, and Displace. They're all there to flicker your dragons, so you get more of them back. Chaos Warp's in here. Which, do this on your own dragons as well, right? Like, if someone's going to pop one of your dragons, you already have a second copy of it. Go ahead and Chaos Warp this dragon, and then get, you know, another thing. We have Growth Spiral and Harrow for ramp. Illusionist Stratagem. Oh yeah, this also is a flicker effect. And then Teamer Charm. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 till end of turn. Fights target creature you don't control. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Or creatures power 3 or less can't block this turn. Artifacts. I did promise you a ton of mana rocks. Arcane Signet, Carolean Orb, Lapis Orb, Jade Orb. They all do different things when you do them right. This when spent on the dragon spell, it gets haste. It gets a 1/1 counter and gains hexproof. Scry 2, right? We do have Simic Signet, Izzet Signet, Gruul Signet, Soul Ring in here. The Dragon Storm Globe, they enter with an additional 1/1 counter. And Panharmonicon is again about 1/10 of the budget for this deck. And that is primarily because it is just so good with Miirym. Just so good with Miirym. Enchantments, we have Acolyte Abominant. Dragon spells you cast cost 2 less. Colossal Majesty, you draw a card at the beginning of your upkeep if you control a creature power 4 or greater. Crucible of Fire, dragons get +3/+3. Dragonback Assault, when the enchantment enters, it deals 3 damage to each creature in each planeswalker. Landfall, you get to make a dragon. Fires of Yavimaya. Creatures you control have haste. You can sack it to give creature +2/+2. Grixis Uprising, when this enchantment enters, if you control a creature power 4 or greater, draw a card. Creatures you control have trample. Whenever a creature you control power 4 or greater enters, draw a card. We have Rising of the Day. Creatures you control have haste. Legendary creatures get +1/+0. Up the Beanstalk, when it enters the battlefield, whenever you cast a spell 5 or greater, draw a card. Helps, draw into more dragons. That's what cards like this, Colossal Majesty, and Grixis Uprising are all for. Warstorm Surge, whenever a creature you control enters, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. Lands, this is also eating up a good amount of the budget because there are so many colors. I put a bunch of gates in here and things like that, some growth chamber. But we are running quite a few basics as well. Alrighty, that is the build. Now, let's take a look at what we can do in playtesting, shall we? Holy, we are starting with a ton of basic lands. Holy cow. We're going to draw. We are going to drop a forest. We are going to suspend a Search for Tomorrow. We're going to probably get an island with this, what we're going to do. Set counters at 2. Next turn. This goes down to 1. I am going to play a mountain, forest. I'm going to play Acolyte of Bahamut. So when we do get our Miirym out there, it's going to make our stuff cost way less. Always good. Next turn, this goes off. We search for a land and put it into our battlefield. We're going to get ourselves an island. Boom. Close shuffle. Notice it does go onto the battlefield untapped. We are then going to play another mountain. And I'm going to play Dragon Speaker Shaman. Powering out our dragons as fast as possible is a very good thing. Next turn, I'm going to play another forest. And so right now, Miirym is only going to cost us 3. So we're going to go blue, red, green. We're going to play Miirym, the Sentinel Wyrm. It costs us 4. I cannot read. But now our dragons cost 4 less. So we're going to play Rapacious Dragon, which we get a copy of Rapacious Dragon. And when it enters, create 2 treasure tokens. So we get to create 4 treasure tokens. Right here. I'll just drop them there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So we now have a ton of mana. And then we can exile up to 2 creatures and return them to the battlefield. Next turn, we're going to draw. I'm going to play Unclaimed Territory. And we are going to choose Dragon. Do I want to flicker that? Nah, we'll just bring in the beats with these guys here in our Miirym. Next turn, we draw a card. I'm going to play a mountain. And we bring in the beats. We don't have to have a whole lot of creatures on the board right off the bat. We have this. And you know what? I am going to play an Incision in this turn. So he's going to flicker, which creates us a copy. And we are going to get 4 more treasures. Let's go here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We have so many treasures, friends. Next turn. I'm going to return this to put in Izzet Boilerworks in play. And we've got 9 power worth of little dragons plus him. That's not bad at all. Rising of the Day. We're just going to play Rising of the Day. First stuff has haste. We can flicker it again if we wanted to, but I don't want to blow all of my spells on that. We're going to do this differently. We're going to play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to play Dragonback Assault. It deals 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker. And then we're going to play an island, which nets us a 4/4 dragon. Getting more power on the field. And then, of course, swinging in with our dragons. Next turn, we draw. Man, we're getting all of the lands. And we may as we get another dragon from that. And we may as well attack. Remember that tokens don't get copied by Miirym. Next turn, we've got a Braid. We're just going to keep beating face with what we have. As you can see from the subsequent turns, we do have some more stuff. Wow, we are not seeing a lot of dragons, though. That is interesting. And then in this hand, we have 2. And then in this hand, we got 1. But yeah, you kind of see the general gist. You're gonna poop out a bunch of dragons. You're gonna do a bunch of silly things. All for under $100. Not too bad. And remember, with these commander decks, you can always go lower if you can't afford all of those things. You can always sub in for basics. I run a lot of basics in my commander decks, and then you can upgrade over time as your budget and play allows. But as always, I'm Weston with the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.